The podcast in which one man strives to level up his geekhood and helping you do the same, one battle at a time. Now, let's get geeky with Gamer Leaf.
Welcome to Getting Geeky with Gamer Leaf. I know we usually bring a story to you to start off the episodes. We're doing something a little different tonight. Tonight we are pleased to bring and tell you a little bit about Ascendant Destiny, which is a flexible tabletop fantasy RPG game that's currently on Kickstarter. I know you guys have heard of Savage Worlds as well as D&D, plus there's Feint. There's all kinds of role-playing games out there, but they all tend to have their own settings. So we're going to talk about a flexible tabletop fantasy RPG game. And tonight we're lucky enough to have on Chris, who is the creator and mastermind behind Ascendant Destiny. Is that correct, Chris? Is that how you fit into line with this?
Yes, I'm the author.
Awesome. Thank you for joining us on Getting Geeky with Gamer Leaf. We really appreciate it, Chris.
That's all right. Thanks for having me.
No problem. Okay, we're glad you could make it. So let's rewind a little bit if we could. Let's go back to, well, I don't know if we want to go back to the beginning unless you were born into role-playing games and whatnot. But how did you get into role-playing games, Chris?
All right. I was first introduced to role-playing when I was 17, when I left school and went to university. That's 17 years ago now. And I loved the whole idea straight away. At first, I thought I was joining a club for wargaming. I had no idea what role-playing was, but then I was introduced to it, and I thought it was even better than that. So, but the one thing I found with the role-playing games is a lot of them had systems that were either very specialized or were a little unrealistic for me. So I started making my own one, and that was about 15 years ago.
Okay, and so you initially thought it was going to be wargaming. Were you into wargaming before that, or what's going on with that?
I was, yeah, for a few years. I used to collect miniatures and paint them up.
Okay, but no more?
I haven't done it for a while, yeah.
Well, there you go. So what role-playing game were you first introduced to 17 years ago?
Dungeons and Dragons, actually, 3rd edition. I was playing a paladin named Erroneous, and one of my colleagues, one of my fellow students was playing my character's brother, and he was also a paladin.
Oh, okay. So I'm kind of not into it that much. I played Middle-earth role-playing back when I was in high school. It's horrible to think of, but I graduated almost 20 years ago, and so played a little bit before that. We played Middle-earth role-playing with my friends in high school, and then fell away from it forever. Now we're recently started a role-playing game, a dice role-playing game called Too Many Bones that was on Kickstarter not too long ago by Chip Theory Games. But Middle-earth role-playing was based off of Tolkien's world, but I'm not sure what a paladin is. What is that exactly, Chris?
A paladin's a holy warrior, like a paragon kind of thing for a god. They just a holy warrior.
There you go. Cool. So was there a science behind picking that, or they just needed a holy warrior in their game?
I really liked the concept. The game was a little different to what would normally be a Dungeons and Dragons one. They had 12 players, but they had 3 GMs. And what happened was we were in a pool of players, and we got divided into 3 groups, and we were in a story, in a campaign that was run 3 groups concurrently in the same world. And so we'd hear about what the other groups were doing, and then every few months we'd swap some players around, and we'd go on different missions, and it all intertwined throughout the year. And it was it's very different. I haven't had an experience like that after.
Oh, wow. I recently heard about something like that on a podcast. I don't remember. I want to say they played something at Gen Con, like it was a big old room with, it was like a big old room full of role players, and they all got together and did something similar to that. It sounded really interesting.
Well, yeah, and this went for a whole year, and somehow they managed to tie it all back together. So Yeah, I wasn't sure how they were going to do that, but they managed to pull it off quite nicely.
Oh wow, yeah, that's kind of intriguing. So yeah, wow. Did you ever GM during that?
During that, I did actually. I was only playing for a few months before I caught the GM bug, and I started GMing something at the same time, and that was the first campaign that I wrote, and that was in Dungeons and Dragons. After that, I ran another one, and then I started developing my own system, and I reran the first one in my system. And from that point onwards, I just started using my own system.
Okay, so you keep talking about it. The word on the street is you have a new role-playing game system, and it's currently on Kickstarter. What can you tell us about Ascendant Destiny, Chris?
Well, it's a fantasy role playing system whose main strengths are flexibility, that is independent of setting, a balanced system that scales well, and also meaningful progression. So it's flexible in that there are a lot of optional rules, and that characters are not class based, they are skill based. So you can spend your experience where you want and develop the character that you want without having to follow a strict template. And every day, every time you play, you don't have to wait till you level up before before your character gets better. You're progressing all the time. And the system actually balances well. One thing that a lot of people used to complain to me about was in Dungeons and Dragons, as the mages got higher level, they got so much more powerful than the other classes, and at the start they weren't very powerful, and it was just tricky to balance the whole thing. And that's definitely something I've been working on the last 14 years of playtesting.
So how does somebody go from playing D&D, just starting off, and then to making their own system and then play testing it for 15 years or 14 years?
Well, originally I just built it for myself, just something that I wanted to have. I had this vague idea that one day I might publish it, but that was kind of in the distant future. And ever since then, every time I run a game, I make a few changes, balancing issues, and just changes to the rules to see if they work. And my dad actually talked to me halfway through last year, and he goes, "How's that book going? Are you ever going to publish it?" And I said, "Yeah, someday, but I'm not finished with it yet." And he says, "You know you're never going to be finished writing it. How about you just publish it?" And so that day I started looking up artists so I could start commissioning artwork for it so that I could publish it. And my goal was to publish it by June this year.
Okay, so how's that coming along?
Really well, actually. I started a Kickstarter last week on Wednesday, Australian time, and that's already 35% funded, which apparently is good news. Most things that get to about 20% actually have a good chance of getting funded, so that's exciting. The book itself has about 55 pieces of art already. I'm looking into making more color pictures at the moment because I want it to be very pretty. And the Kickstarter is just for raising a few funds to get more of that art done. And the more that I can raise with that, the more art goes in the book. And also hiring a designer.
Okay, so did you do the art, or did somebody else do the art, or?
I've worked with 11 artists so far in this book. So no, I don't do the art. I draw good stick figures, and I'm a wizard on paintbrush. But aside from that,
Okay, so on your stick figures, are they naked? My wife always teases me about my stick figures are usually naked.
Yeah, mine are usually naked too, actually.
Oh boy. So there you go. But yeah, these ones are very well clothed and whatnot in the pictures and whatnot. So it looks, and there's several of them up there on the Kickstarter page. It also looks like, oh yeah, I see a list of artists and their websites. Is that right?
Yep, that's right. Yeah, that's not all of them because some of them one of them's disappeared, and the other one just hadn't replied to an email allowing me permission to use his name on the Kickstarter. So those are the ones that I said, "Yep, okay, I'm happy to put my name on the Kickstarter.
Oh, wow. So how does that happen? How does an artist just vanish into thin air?
I don't know, but his Facebook post disappeared. It's funny, actually, because one of the artists that I work with actually was probably more the chief artist, Lewis, who's done the art for the Kickstarter. He actually has the same name, exact same name as another person on Facebook, and they're both artists. And I accidentally hit the other one up when I was looking for Lewis, and he did a piece for me, and then he lost the Facebook group that he was in is completely gone now. So I don't know what happened with that. It's a bit of a mystery.
Oh, wow. So he's just up and gone.
Yep.
Interesting.
So when I went to contact him to ask his permission to put his name on there, he just wasn't there. So I don't know how to contact him. And he's in Brazil somewhere.
You have to have the other Lewis, the one that's a different one, to do the artwork now, I guess?
Yep. He's been amazing so far. That one with the tomb picture that I've been using for Ascendant Destiny so far, that's his work.
Oh, okay, cool. Cool beans. So let's see. And yeah, I see several different pictures. Is there somewhere where you can see more of the pictures? You said there's like a lot more, like 55, didn't you, or something?
Yeah, I've got most of the art at the moment is up on, what's it called, DeviantArt. I've got a DeviantArt account. I believe there's a link in the Kickstarter for the DeviantArt account. I think it's towards the bottom. I'll just scroll down to see if it's there.
Okay, yeah, I see it here. I really like the character sheets. Did you come up with those, or you collaborated with an artist, or how did that pan out?
I collaborated with an artist for that one. Actually, the character sheet that I used for the last 15 years has been very similar to this. It's just been very simple. I created it in Microsoft Word using tables and borders and all that kind of stuff, and it was a lot of work. But this one, I gave him the original sheet, and he's gone and made this with it, and that's pretty awesome. It's a lot more art. Got all of the tears and yeah, I just think it's much more pretty.
Yeah, they look pretty cool. So yeah, I see two different ones on there. Is that all the different? So there's two character sheets, or there going to be more than that too?
Well, at the moment, this is the character sheet. That's the bigger one. When I refer to a smaller one, it's basically just the same thing, but instead of having a notes on the front page, it's got feats. Feat/spells, so it's all on the one page, but I recommend the 2-page one because it gives you a lot more space to work with, because you end up getting a lot of feats and spells if you're a spellcaster.
Okay, so that's all for one character, both pages then.
That's correct, yeah.
Okay, that makes more sense. Awesome. Cool. That's pretty cool. So let's see. So your dad it sounds like your dad kind of gave you the challenge, and then you decided to go ahead and publish it. So when making your own system and whatnot and doing the book or whatnot, how much work are you having to put in to write? Like, what all do you have to write? Just all the rules, and how's that work?
Well, when I started writing it, I started writing the feats and the spells, because that's the bit that needed to have concrete rules. And so for the first few years, it was just a bunch of Word documents with spells written in it and feats. But eventually, people were actually requesting hard copies of the rules. So I decided to actually write down the rules in a whole chapter format. And that's when I just started to really put together the book and put together each of the spells in its own chapter and the feats in a chapter. And then I had to describe how to make a character and how to advance the character and what all the skills were and the virtues. And that's how the book came together.
Oh, okay, cool. And so I know your dad made the challenge and whatnot, and he said you weren't very done with it right now. So how much more work would you say you have? I know you're waiting for money for some of the art and some other things, but how much more work would you say you got to put into it, Chris?
Well, it's a finished product, actually.
Oh, is it? Awesome.
Yeah, it's been finished for 10 years. I've just been tweaking it for 10 years or so, and adding little bits here and there and balancing rules and that sort of thing. So it's been a finished product for quite some time. It's just that I didn't think I was finished tweaking it, but then you could be tweaking it for the rest of my life. So I decided that's enough. I'm going to put the first edition out there and see what people think.
Okay, cool. So this will be the first edition that it will be published?
That's correct, yeah.
Well, there you go. Cool. And are you going to be, let's see, now I know with a lot of other games, I don't know how it works with role-playing games really, but I know with other tabletop board gamers and designers and whatnot that we talk to a lot of the time, they have like different reviewers or YouTubers or different people that go over the different games or whatnot so other people can see it elsewhere. Are you doing any of that? Is there any notable reviewers or anybody else where they can check it out so they don't just have to take your Kickstarter page for word?
Oh, well, had a lot of playtesters over the years. I've got my cheap playtesters that you could talk to, and they would gladly talk about it. But no, I haven't got any YouTube reviewers or anything like that to have a look at it yet. I guess it's at the moment it's more my word, but it is a finished product. It just needs more art.
Well, there you go. Cool. And yeah, just even looking at the art, if I had the money, it'd be something I would want to look at. So how does this differ from, like, how do the rules and stuff differ from, well, like I said, it's been a while since I've been to the actual RPGs or whatnot, but somebody who's more familiar with them and whatnot, how is this going to look different from like Dungeons and Dragons or Savage World or Fate or the different ones they have out there already in the world?
Yes, there's a lot of RPGs out there, and it would be difficult to just say this is better than everything else. It is the things that I focus on are being flexible, in that your character it's not a class-based system, it's a skill-based system. So when you create a character, you can create the character that you want. And if you want to take the character in a different direction later on, you can actually do that without having to follow a template. You can spend the experience in any point of your character that you wish. And to that end, it also scales well. So as you are getting more powerful, all people in your party will all be about the same power, assuming they have the same amount of experience. So that's the balancing part of it. What else can I say? It's
so you talked about flexibility and whatnot. So I could pick like a warrior, but he could maybe have spells or something.
Yeah, that's correct. You could do that, and you could do that quite easily with this. You could have a warrior with spells. You could have a ninja that also likes to cook. You could make any character that you wanted. It does have a fantasy focus, but it has been used in a sci-fi setting before. It just needs a little bit of creative input, and you can convert that over. I have used this system with modules that people have done online and just converted it over. One thing that I wanted to talk about is that I find that with things like Dungeons and Dragons, a lot of it just doesn't quite make sense in that it's not all that realistic. And I understand that it's a fantasy setting. It's not particularly realistic anyway, but I find that when you level up a few times, the challenges that you had at low level, like that really tough barkeeper that was like level 4 or whatever, was a big challenge for you before. But when you level up, even just a little bit, it's no longer a challenge at all. And it just doesn't make sense when you've created a small world. By the time you get to level 7, that world there's nothing in it anymore that's a challenge at all. And in reality, I feel that there should still be things that challenge you. So the progression in this is a bit slower, but you could become a quite powerful wizard, for example. But if you suddenly find yourself surrounded by 10 thugs, you could be in a spot of trouble.
Okay, yeah, interesting. So I listened to this role-playing game where they do a live playthrough of Pathfinder, I think it is, on the Glass Cannon podcast, and they're constantly doing things where I don't know where they roll the dice, but then they have all these modifiers. So they're not like a 3 could really be like a 17 or something. It could be different things. I don't know if it goes up that high or not. But do you have modifiers, or do I, with the number I roll on the dice, is that what it's going to be?
Ah, yes. Yeah, that's another thing about the core dice system in Ascendant Destiny is it's not just one dice that you roll. In D&D, you roll the one dice, and you got a 1 in 20 chance of any particular result. It's a 1 in 20 chance of rolling a 1 and getting a critical fumble, or the opposite. In this, you've got multiple dice that you roll depending on your skill. So if you've got 4 points in your skill, you'd be rolling 4 dice. And the way you total up the result in this system is you grab the highest dice as your basic score, and depending on what's on the other dice, you add bonuses to the score to get a final total. And it doesn't take long to get used to it all. And I find that because of the way it's done, it scales well with challenges. And later on, when you become more powerful, you can actually start splitting your actions, which means instead of just taking 1 attack, you can make 2, but you use a slightly reduced dice pool each time. So there are dice modifiers, but I try to keep them to a minimum because I find that it can get confusing at high level, particularly in those like Pathfinder or D&D, which are both very similar. All the modifiers in that just kind of boggle my head a bit.
Yeah, it boggles my head too. So you say I roll 4 dice. Are they like D6s, or what dice types do you use in this?
We use D10s in this. You do use other types of dice as well when rolling damage. So you use your D6s, your D4s, and D8s, but the majority of the time you'll be rolling a group of D10s.
And it sounds like this is just the book. So what is this going to put somebody back to be able to start role playing this game, the system?
Well, at the moment we've got the Kickstarter, and you've got your backer awards there. At the moment, $15 Australian, which I believe is probably about $11 US. Gets you a PDF copy of the book and a note in the back of the book with your name on it saying that you're one of the backers for the book. You can go steps further than that, and you can go up to 25 and you get a copy of the book, the PDF when it's finished, and a backing, a credit as a backer as well. But you also get the book that's finished right now, without all the pretty pictures and stuff in it, because the edition that I've got now is fully edited and ready to go. It just hasn't got the pictures placed in it yet. So you'll get that early so that you can start straight away.
Okay, cool. That's pretty good.
And for 35 Australian, you get all the above, plus you can buy the book at cost from RPG. Through RPG or something like that? You just have to pay printing costs and shipping costs, and that's it. And you can get a physical hard copy cover of the book, as well as the additional rules early and the PDF and the backing.
Oh, that's pretty good. So yeah, it looks like RPG Now is what it says on the site. So that's pretty good.
RPG Now, that's the one. Yeah.
Okay, and I imagine it'll figure out shipping afterwards. Is that how that works?
Yeah, the site figures out the shipping for you.
Oh, okay. So RPG Now will figure out the shipping cost for people?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, well, that's good. There you go. So let's see here. So per se, somebody's fallen asleep because they wouldn't be because of you or your RPG system. It'd probably be because of me and my podcast. At the time of this recording, it's today's the last day of January, at least for me, and we've already had 18 episodes out since then, since the 1st of January. So they're a little tired of listening to my voice and whatnot. Maybe I drone on or something. But now they're suddenly jolted awake so they don't hit that oncoming traffic. Now you have their full attention, Chris. Why should they take a chance and back Ascendant Destiny, a flexible tabletop fantasy RPG, especially with all the other great RPG games out there, some of which are on Kickstarter currently?
All right. Because it's been play tested for 14 years. It's balanced, it works, and it's exciting. Your characters are always excited about. Sorry, your players are always very excited about their characters all the time, especially when they can expend experience at just about any point in time and put up a skill as they need it. And it's balanced and realistic, but not too realistic. It's just got a little bit of everything in there for everyone, and it's got so much flexibility. You could have an entire party full of just druids, and because there's so many different domains for druids, they could all be different.
Oh, okay. And so, are you on any other podcasts or anything like that talking about this, Chris?
Not podcasts. I've been on a Q&A yesterday with a guy called Hardboiled GM Shoe who runs RPGNet. We did a 2-hour session there where we were typing and people were asking questions. That's up on his website.
Okay, I've heard of that, and if you get me the links, I can leave it in the show notes for everybody. But I guess if you're listening to podcasts or whatnot, and you hadn't heard of this before, I guess technically I could say you heard it here first on Getting Geeky with Game Relief.
That's it. Yep.
So there you go. I know you said you listened to one of our other podcasts previously, Chris, but the next portion of our podcast is called Adventures in Application Acquisition, where we go ahead and we talk about an app, whether it be for your cell phone, your tablet, even a computer, or even a video game app, something that you use a lot of. It doesn't even necessarily have to be related to RPGs or anything like that. A while back ago, we had somebody who had an app. They like to travel with their dogs, and so they had an app what tells them like different places that are pet friendly and whatnot. Is there an app you use a lot of or have used a lot of, Chris, that we can talk about for a moment?
I just got some gaming apps on my phone, really.
Okay, do you have a favorite maybe we can talk about for a moment?
Let me think. Well, I've been playing this silly little game on my phone called My Singing Monsters. It's where you have these monsters and you buy them and they sit around and they sing, and then you breed them together and you breed new ones and they sing a different part of the song. And as you breed all the monsters, you get the entire song, and it's actually kind of cute and fun.
Well, there you go. Is that a free application or does it cost?
It is a free application. It does have optional costs, but I think they all do. But I haven't had to pay a cent.
Okay. Yeah, I want to say if that's what I'm thinking about, I think my kids might have had it at one time. Does it have a subscription for service, or you have to buy the other monsters individually?
There's options to buy the monsters individually, but you can just breed them.
Oh, okay. I want to say we'd gotten it, and one of my kids accidentally went in and got the different monsters or whatnot. So yeah, that wasn't good. But so yeah, you can buy them or you can breed them, and then they'll sing to you. If you own the right, what's it called? It's called Singing Monsters.
My Singing Monsters, yeah.
My Singing Monsters. Make sure you put that "my" in there if you're looking at it. But yeah, if you own the rights to My Singing Monsters, Chris, what would be one thing you would do to make it a better app?
Geez. I'd put probably more worlds in so that you can get more different songs, because after a while you're just hearing the same songs over and over.
Well, there you go. So yeah, if you're listening, we're hoping to make a green podcast. So if the creators or the people who run My Singing Monsters are ever listening to this of Getting Geeky with Game Relief, you've heard it here first on Getting Geeky with Game Relief. What Chris would do to make it a better application, put more songs on there, or different things, so you don't get the same songs and get burnt out that way, I guess.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So, yeah, we really appreciate you coming on Getting Geeky with Game Relief with us, Chris. Minus coming over there, it looks like you're over in Australia, is that right?
Yeah, Melbourne, Australia.
Okay, well, Minus coming over there to Australia to stalk you personally. How would people go about finding out about you or the Ascendant Destiny? How can they find you online?
Oh, okay. We are on Facebook and on Instagram. We've got that DeviantArt account as well. Aside from being on Kickstarter, we also have a website, crunchygames.com/Ascendant Destiny.
Okay, and if you leave the If you get the links over to me, I'll make sure I post them all in the show notes so people can, they won't have to type it in. They can just click on it or whatnot. But yeah, we really wanted to say thank you, and we really appreciate you coming on Getting Geeky with Game Relief, and we'll leave that link in the show notes so they can at least go check out your Kickstarter, Ascendant Destiny, and hopefully back it so we can get this project to come to fruition so you can prove your dad wrong.
Thanks for that. I appreciate the opportunity to talk to you.
No problem. Okay, so yeah, Chris, I almost forgot to ask. It looks like there's another backing option. What is that, and what do they get?
The other backing option is the option to put your role-playing character in the book itself, an illustration of your character. So what you do is you'll be working with me, and I'll be commissioning a picture of your character doing something that you want them to be doing, and I'll get in contact with one of my artists, and we'll make it a thing, and we'll put it in the book. So it's a really exciting way to immortalize your character.
Oh, wow. So how does that work? So they'll be collaborating with you and the other artists or whatnot?
Yeah, that's right. They'll be collaborating with me, and I'll put together a little package that I do for each piece of art, and I'll send that off to one of my artists, which one I think would illustrate that character the best.
Well, that's pretty cool. So won't that delay the backers getting their book or whatnot? Or if they go with the full package, or how will that work?
Well, I don't think so, because I still need to commission a few more pieces of art, and the artwork that you can get from it is actually got a pretty quick turnaround. Usually I can get it done within a week or two. Because I need to do more art anyway. It's just part of the journey.
Okay, that's cool. Well, hopefully they won't end up disappearing. I know you said you had the one artist disappearing, but that was, yeah, just once in a blue moon, it sounds like.
Well, he disappeared, but he didn't disappear with any money or anything. It's just I couldn't contact him again to commission more art, that's all.
Okay, so he commissioned art and he did that art, but that's all. Okay, that's good. That's good. So yeah, your artist won't disappear, and you'll be able to have your character immortalized in the new role-playing game book.
That's it. I'm excited. I really want to hear other people's ideas and put their characters into the book.
Well, that'd be cool. Yeah, and it looks like you can get your character in the book as well as a full color character. Your character in full color as well.
Yeah, there's only one of those options available. The full color ones are for the chapter titles. At the moment, there's 12 chapters in the book, so I've got 11 ideas already put down, and this 12th idea is open for people who get that one backing award.
Okay, yeah, I see that. So that's cool. So I forgot to ask also, when do you anticipate? I know with Kickstarters, there's a little bit of turnaround and whatnot. But when do you anticipate people being able to get their product if they go ahead and back this great project?
The goal I have in mind is the end of June this year. But if they get the $25 one or more, then they'll get a version of the rules as soon as the Kickstarter is successful.
Okay, and it looks like the project's going through the Friday the 23rd of February.
Yep, that's right. So if the funding is successful, everyone who spent $25 or more will get a copy of the rules probably on the 24th.
Well, there you go. So yeah, make sure you go ahead and back this project. And yeah, we once again, because we don't want to keep you all night. Well, I guess it'd be all day over there probably. We don't want to keep you all day.
Yeah, exactly.
But we appreciate you coming on Getting Geeky with Game Relief with us.
Thank you very much.
No problem. Welcome to Kickstarter Corner. You guessed it, that's what time it is. And now it is on to tell you about all the great games on Kickstarter. First off, we've got Warriors of Jogu Feint. Outweigh your opponent in this tactical card game of bluffing and deduction. And this game goes through the 16th of February, so check it out. They funded a little while ago, so you would be able to get that. It's from Tony over at Monsoon Publishing. It looks amazing. I love the art. Then we've also got Hermetica, a two-player abstract strategy board game where clever combos and dynamic terrain create a battle of choice, tactics, and wits. And yeah, this is great. Remember, we did an interview of the creators as well as both me and Barbarian Leaf both did review episodes. And if you don't know how the game's going to play, how about you go check it out? You can play it for free online. And they've got, by the time of this recording, they had 33 hours to go. They actually end on Thursday, February 8th at 6 a.m. So you better back this today so you can get this great game. Then we've got Dead Till Dawn, zombie survival horror card game. Experience a unique zombie apocalypse story line with your friends, full of choices, voting, chance, alliances, combat, and betrayals by Steve Cave. This game is pretty good, and they're over $1,000 over their funding goal, so it will be funded, and you better get on the train so you can play Dead Till Dawn. Note, this is not for little wee ones, but it is family friendly. So if they're not going to have nightmares, bring them along. This project will be funded if it reaches its goal by Saturday, February 24th. So you got a little ways to get on this fun game. We will be having our interview with Steve launching pretty soon here. Then we've got Blockchain, the cryptocurrency game. It's an action-based strategy game with the new millennium. Mine, hack, trade, and store coins to be the first one to fill your vault. They're kind of a little bit away from their goal, but they got 17 days to go, so check it out. They also go through the 24th of February, so check that out. This is from Say Cheeves Games. Not cheese, but Cheeves. And then we've got Creatures of Vathis, Volume 1. It's for D&D 5e as well as Pathfinder. It is a bestiary compatible with both D&D 5e edition and Pathfinder role-playing games for the Creatures of Vathis. We just barely had them on Monday, so if you want to know more about it, go listen to that interview. And they will go through the 3rd of March, so check that one out for sure. And then, last but not least, is Lexicons of Dueling Japanese Katana. It's a simple and complete card game that simulates martial combat in a most ingenious manner. We will be playing this game, giving it a quick review, but we gotta be quick about it as this project is going through the 3rd of March. We don't got many days, do we? So keep your eye out for that. And yeah, so things are amazing. And yeah, things are amazing. We might not be able to bring you an episode on Friday as things are kind of ramped up here, but we won't have to cut back as much as we thought. And we will be bringing you the story-based podcasts with the help of Lady Leaf, as she is a great storyteller. Can't wait for that. Once again, if you want to, I think you should have already had them in for Too Many Bones. I'll give you a little bit more if you want to get your votes in. Go ahead and look at the top post. It's actually the posted what is it? I forget. The pinned post. Look at the pinned post on our Facebook page and make your vote on which Tyrant we should be taking on in our next battle of Too Many Bones, as we'll be bringing that to you more consistently, hopefully, and more story-based. This will be awesome. Are you ready for a great ride? So the podcast is going to be changing. I hope you'll like the changes. I know I'm going to love them, as they'll be more story-based as we initially had hoped. Anyways, remember to borrow your friend's phone if you don't have an iPhone or an iPad. Borrow it, leave a quick review, and then give it back to them. That way they don't have to leave a review, but tell them so they can go ahead and pass on the good word, as they'll be able to leave a review on so on and so forth. And it will be an endless world with those of the Gamer Leaf Nation. Get geeky, stay geeky, and bring others into the geek fold. And we will catch you all on the flip side. Gamer Leaf out.
Gamer Leaf levels up. Tune in next week to see if Gamer Leaf's luck holds up.